What if the new year isn't about becoming someone you're not, but about finally standing in the fullness of who you already are, claiming the chapter you've already written, the magic you've always carried, and the sacred audacity to stop waiting for permission? Hey, Magical Society, I'm Rev MK Mitchell, board certified coach, metaphysician, healer, forever Momo, as well as your host. And this is the Magical Soulutions Podcast, where we unlock your soul's wisdom one soul beat at a time. This space isn't about pretending to have all the answers. It's about remembering that the real magic happens when we turn inward, get curious, and listen to the whispers of our own soul. This is your space to remember the magic you carry within. To meet this year with trust in what's quietly taking hold beneath the surface. To claim your theme, your lesson, your sacred audacity. Because you are magical. You are the solution. This year, this new year, has only just arrived. My podcast crew, Gretzky and Phineas, my dogs, are in the other room, sitting at the front window, surveying the neighborhood, prepared to let any delivery people know just what they think of them stepping onto our porch, actually even looking at our house. The house itself, though, is quiet in that post-holiday way. And honestly, it feels like the right moment to talk about beginnings that aren't loud or dramatic, but quiet and rooted. If this episode resonates, share it with someone who's ready to step into their year with intention instead of pressure. And if you want personalized support for your year ahead, I offer custom tarot readings, oracle readings, and host vision board or manifestation workshops, among other services. We'll talk about that. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Last week in episode 27, we closed out the year, honoring what ended, releasing what's finished, and creating space for what's next. We worked with the 4 elements: water to cleanse, earth to ground, fire to transmute, and air to seal. And we ended with a question. What am I still waiting for permission to claim? Today, we're stepping into that question. Today, we're claiming it. Welcome to the year of becoming. So I couldn't resist playing the song Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield while I wrote this episode. That line, "Today is where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten," kept looping through my head, not so much like a broken record, but more like a mantra. That combined with Nina Simone's Feeling Good and Florence and the Machine's The Dog Days Are Over, that's the frequency we're tuning into today. Hopeful, activated, and ready to claim what's already ours. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to arrive in this new space and time together. Close your eyes if it feels safe, or just soften your gaze. Feel your body. Feel the ground or surface beneath you, supporting you. Feel the newness in the air. Take a slow, deep breath in and just let it go. Let it go. You're here. The page is blank. That's not a problem. It's a portal. Now, if you did the 4-element ritual from our last episode, you've already created space. Maybe you did it in a different way also. If you haven't had a chance to listen, and go ahead and check out the exercise in episode 27. You still have time. There's no rush. Just because the calendar changed doesn't mean you have to do all the things all at once at the same time. This episode builds off of that one, but it can be done independently too. But if you did complete it, or you did your own end of year ritual, you've released, you've honored, you've let go. And now it's time to plan. It's the moment where something begins to stir beneath the surface, even if you can't name it yet. It's the time when you don't see growth yet, but you trust that it's happening. That's where we're right now. The future is unwritten, and yet the story that brought you here already exists within you. And that's where the magic is. Because you don't need a whole map to take your next true step. So let's talk about what all this actually means and why the story I teased in our last episode is about to change everything for how you think about new beginnings, hopefully. Let's start by dismantling something. Every January, the world sells us the same story. New year, new you. That idea that you have to reinvent yourself from scratch, become somebody unrecognizable to have a successful year. And I get it. I get the appeal. I truly understand this. After a hard year like 2025, after loss or struggle or simply feeling stuck or burnout, the idea of wiping the slate clean and becoming someone better or different or just letting it all go and starting over feels hopeful. But here's the rub. You're not a slate that needs wiping. You are not a slate that needs wiping. You're not broken or behind, and you are never starting from zero. You're a spiral. And spirals don't start over. They return to familiar places at a deeper level. We don't live in straight lines like the calendar shows us. We live in cycles, more like how day turns into night, night turns into day, and repeats over and over, as well as like the movement of the planets. Those have cycles. In a lot of wisdom traditions, time isn't a highway or linear. It's a wheel, a season, a return. And the return isn't a negative or like a bad thing. The return is depth because a spiral doesn't reset, it revisits. You meet the same themes, the same lessons, the same tender places, but with more awareness, more language, more empathy, more power, hopefully. So when you step into a new year, you're not starting from scratch. Ideally, you're stepping from integration. You're bringing your receipts, your scars, your skills, your soul knowing, and you're letting the new chapter be shaped by who you already are. You're stepping into the version of you that's been waiting, quietly or maybe not so quietly, for you to stop apologizing and finally inhabit the space you're already in. Right now, in the wheel of the year, that wheel that I just mentioned, we're moving from Yule, December 21st, the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, toward Imbolc, which is around February 1st. And Yule taught us that even in the darkest stretch, the light begins to return. Not dramatically, yeah, I know, not all at once, definitely not all at once, though it would be very nice. More like a dimmer switch, turning up by degrees. It's happening. Imbolc is the next breath in that cycle, and it's only a few short weeks from when this is being recorded. The moment the inner thaw begins, it's often connected to the festival of Brigid, Celtic goddess of fire, creativity, healing, and the forge. Brigid is the energy of refinement, the sacred flame that turns raw material into something shaped, strong, and usable. Not reinvention, refinement. not performance, practice, not proving, but tending to what's already true. This is also the time of the maiden archetype. And that's part of you that is curious, fresh, and willing to not know. And we all have that. We don't always pay attention, but we do have that within us. The maiden doesn't need all the answers. She doesn't need a 5-year plan. She just needs to be willing to step forward and see what happens. That's the invitation of this new year. Trusting what's already taking root when you can't see it yet. It's hard. Now let's bring in metaphysics. I wouldn't be a metaphysician if I didn't do this. 2 universal laws are working together right now. 2 good ones. The law of detachment and the law of intention. And we talked about the law of detachment in last episode and in previous episodes, and I'll do it again and again, no doubt. It's one that I really find that I come back to over and over. And this is the willingness to release your grip on how things should unfold and trust that the universe has something better in store, that the universe has your back. But here's what I don't think I've mentioned yet. Detachment isn't passivity, meaning it's not sitting back and hoping the universe does all the work. Like you're not just going to sit there and the universe is going to go, here, have. It's pairing release with direction. This is where the law of intention comes in. Deepak Chopra teaches that intention is the directed focus of your energy, not forcing, not controlling, but aligning. It's saying, this is what I'm calling in. This is the energy I'm stepping into. This is the version of me I'm ready to embody. And then letting go of how and when. That's the dance. Intention plus detachment equals co-creation. You set the direction, you take the first steps, and the universe handles the details. If episode 27 was about releasing what's complete and episode 28 is about becoming, then what we're really talking about today is the energy that carries you forward, the quiet kind of courage that doesn't ask for permission. And that brings me to the words actually, that have been sitting in my soul since the end of last year. Sacred Audacity. Before I unpack that, take a breath with me. Take a moment. Because for some people, the word audacity can feel like a threat or harsh. If you feel that in your nervous system or you feel like your nervous system's tightening up, that's okay. That reaction is information, not a problem. It's important. Soften your shoulders, if you will. Unclench your jaw. And one slow inhale. And exhale it all out. Here's what sacred audacity is not. It's not loudness. It's not hustle. It's not fake it till you make it. It's not bulldozing your way through or forcing yourself into someone else's mold. Sacred audacity is quieter than that. It's the embodied decision to stop negotiating your worth. It's taking up your full space without the apology tour. If you're a frequent I'm sorrier, we'll be talking about this in a future episode. It's trusting what you know deep down, even when you can't prove it on paper. Sacred audacity is the courage to be seen as you are. For me, that's my ADHD brain, perimenopausal fog, sensitive heart, mystical leanings, weird humor, big feelings, brilliant gifts, all of it. It's not about becoming more, it's about ending negotiation. So let me tell you the story of how I learned all of this and why this is my year of sacred audacity. 4 years ago, I applied for a role and made it all the way to the final steps of the interview process for a teaching position at the Headspace Training Institute. The role felt perfect for me. Leading mental health coach training. Oh, training the soul level transformation work I'd been doing for years. And I would be doing this at the company that I adored. But when the opportunity came, I froze. Did. Told myself I wasn't ready, it wasn't the right fit at the right time. I told myself I needed to remain safe where I was as a coach manager, which in full disclosure, I truly loved. My team of coaches have been some of the most amazing people I have ever had the pleasure of working with. But here's the truth I did not want to admit. I wasn't afraid I wasn't ready. I was afraid of taking a leap into the unknown. So I stayed where it was safe. I stayed in a role I got a ton of compassion satisfaction from. I kept supporting, coaching, building, but always from the edges, never from the center. I told myself I had the best of both worlds, which in many ways I did. I was able to teach and be a coach manager. And for 4 years, I told myself that was enough. Fast forward to the end of 2025. Another opportunity came up. The course instructor role became available again. Teaching the very work I'd been doing, leading cohorts again, but from a full-time position, stepping fully into the visible embodied role I'd backed away from years before. And this time, I jumped immediately, without hesitation, without over-explaining, without waiting to feel ready, without even exploring if it was safe. What changed? I stopped negotiating with who I already am. I stopped waiting for external validation to prove I was worthy of taking up space. I stopped living in fear of possibility. Something inside me had finally settled. Here's the thing about the law of detachment. To attract this role, I had to detach from needing it. I had to release my grip on the outcome, the timeline, the how. For 4 years, I'd been meandering my way toward ready, telling myself if the opportunity comes again, I won't hesitate, I'll jump. I set the foundation. That's what I had to do to make this work. I told my boss and the person in charge of the training institute how much I would love it if a role came up again. I supported the department however I could because I got so much joy from being of service, and also because I believed that letting the universe know this is what I wanted to do required action. And then I'd remember how much I loved being a coach manager where it was comfortable and safe, and I'd let go of the urgency, the need of being a course instructor. And over time, my coach manager role had required more of my attention, and I needed to step back even further from my volunteer teacher responsibilities. And in that moment, I truly detached from the outcome and just trusted that if it was truly meant to be for me, it would be. I relied on faith. And then it showed up, and I was ready. Not because I'd checked all the boxes, but because I'd finally stopped hesitating. I was no longer willing to wait for it to come to me, and I was no longer willing to wait for the perfect moment. So now, here in January 2026, very soon actually, just a couple days, I'm teaching my first class as a full-time course instructor. And I'm stepping into that room not as someone who has arrived, but with one intention: to be real, not polished. Okay, well, somewhat, but not perfect, real. I'm not pretending to have it all figured out. I won't be hiding my ADHD brain, which I've never been able to do. I'm not trying to outrun the perimenopausal fog. Thankfully, that's not as bad anymore. And I'm not sanding down the mystical, irreverent, dog obsessed parts of me to seem more accessible. I'm showing up as me, fully, without apology, because I'm pretty amazing. And I imagine you are too. And I'm bringing that same energy to this mic because the people who are meant to find this work don't need the edited version of me. They need the honest one, the one who looks around while she talks, the one who makes sarcastic comments sometimes at inappropriate moments, the one who is spiritual, bleh, the one who is spiritual but makes mistakes. So this year, I'm practicing a different posture. I'm showing up as myself and letting that be enough. My brain will go on ADHD tangents. And sometimes some of the perimenopausal wisdom may not always land softly. And the witchy, woo woo, mystical, sarcastic, dragon loving Momo soul that I already am, actually am, that's coming too. All of it. Not because I'm brave, but because I'm finally done waiting for permission to be myself. Because myself is who I've always been. That's the year of sacred audacity for me. So, what does this mean for you, sacred audacity? I'm not saying you need to quit your job, sell your house, leave your partner, take a giant leap, or whatever change may be dancing around the edges of your mind. I'm saying, what if you stopped waiting for permission to insert whatever you've been waiting for here? What if you stopped translating yourself for people who aren't listening anyway? What if you stopped shrinking to make other people comfortable? What if you stopped masking and allowed yourself to be you? What if you finally said yes to the thing you've been telling yourself you're not ready for? That's sacred audacity. Not artificial, not theatrical, but the quiet, rooted, embodied practice of finally fully integrating and embracing what's already yours. So, how do we actually step into sacred audacity? Here's the thing: there's no one right way to set intentions or claim your year. Some of you are visual, some of you are kinesthetic, some of you work best with cards or symbols, some of you prefer to write. Other people like structured goal setting or a mix of all these or something completely different. I get it. I'm going to offer you 3 different tools, 3 different ways to anchor your sacred audacity into something tangible, if you so choose. Again, you're welcome to use whatever works for you. I'm sharing multiple tools again because people anchor intention differently, not because you need to do all of them. You can choose one or you can do all 3. Trust your intuition. So if you're someone who gets overwhelmed by too many options, or if you just want radical simplicity, this simplicity practice is a tool for you, possibly. A word or theme for the year. So instead of a full vision board or a complex tarot spread or journaling like crazy, choose one word or maybe a short phrase like mine that captures the essence of your sacred audacity or your year. One word to guide you, one word to return to, one word to anchor your year. And here's how I guide clients through this. Okay. Step 1, reflect on the previous year. Now, you may have already done this. So, yay, if you have. If not, no worries. We've got plenty of time to do all of this. What did last year teach you? What are you releasing? What are you ready to claim? We sort of discussed this in the last episode again, so you may already have this, but if you don't, take some time with it. Step 2, ask your soul. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask, what word or words want to guide me this year? Don't force it, just let it come. Sometimes it's a word you expect. Sometimes it surprises you. I've had clients use words like trust, flow, expansion, clarity, embodiment, rooted, simplicity, sovereignty, possibility, presence, sacred audacity. Yes, you can use 2 words or more. Write it everywhere is the next step. Once you have that word, make it visible. Write it on sticky notes, put them on your mirror, your desk, your car dashboard. Make it your phone wallpaper. Write it in front of your journal. Create art around it if you like. And the last step is to check in with it. At whatever frequency works best for you, perhaps weekly or maybe each month, revisit your word and ask, how's this showing up? How am I embodying this? What is this word teaching me? Let it evolve. Let it guide you. Let it be your North Star. For me, as you probably have determined by now, my phrase this year is sacred audacity. That's my anchor. That's what I'm returning to every time I start to shrink, every time I start to wait for permission. And yours might be completely different. That's the point. This is your year, your word, your sacred audacity. Another tool that you might use if you work best with symbols, metaphor, or intuition, tarot or oracle cards may be for you. They can be an incredible mirror, not to predict your year, but to reflect what's already forming inside of you. And there are so many options, right? Between layouts and decks. I admit I do have this obsession with decks. There's so many beautiful, amazing artwork. Yeah. And just unique, creative ways of creating decks. So for the moment, let's just limit it. Here's 2 that can be done. Again, you can find others too with oracle or tarot decks. The first one is a 13 card year of becoming spread. Choose one card. If using tarot, I recommend a major arcana. So pull the major arcana out first and then choose one from there. This will be your year theme or guiding lesson. Then choose 12 cards from the remaining cards in the deck, one for each month. You just make note of them. We'll come back to this. The other option is a simple 3-card spread if 13 feels overwhelming. First card, my sacred audacity theme, or what am I claiming this year? Card 2 is the challenge. What will test or stretch me? And card 3, the gift. What wisdom or power am I growing into? Pull your cards, write a few lines that come of just whatever comes up right then, and then revisit them. Each month, ask, how is this showing up? What is this teaching me right now? Just a hiccup. Because the real magic isn't the card, it's the conversation that starts with your own soul. Again, think of them as a mirror, reflecting possibilities and your becoming. Tool number 3 is one of my favorites, and is for my visual learners and my I need to hold it in my hands kinesthetic peeps. As a reminder, I'm sharing these options mostly because people anchor intention differently. And within this one, there are actually two options, and you don't need to do both. Pick whatever fits your brain and body best. The first is a vision board, which makes your sacred audacity visible, or a manifestation box, which makes it really tangible, something you can touch, hold, and return to. Not that you can't return to the vision board, you can do that too. And I'm not talking about the Pinterest perfect manifest a mansion kind of vision board. I'm talking about a visual and physical representation of the energy, feeling, essence of who you're becoming. So, a vision board, ask, what does my year feel like when I'm living it from my center? Then collect images, words that match that answer as it comes up without overthinking. And, you know, just do it through stickers, magazine cutouts, printed images, whatever. Arrange them on a board that feels like the frequency you can step into and put it somewhere you'll actually see it. That's a key. The manifestation box. This was so much fun the first time I ever did this. And I love searching thrift shops for boxes I can repurpose for this purpose. Choose a box, make it yours, decorate it, paint it, decoupage, whatever you like. It's yours. Then add symbols of what you're calling in into the box. Words, objects, photos, a key, a stone, a feather, whatever. Anything that carries meaning for you in this point, in this purpose. Each time you're placing something inside, silently name it. This represents what I'm choosing this year. Pause for a moment and take a breath. If you've chosen your tool, even if you haven't made it yet, you've already begun. All right, now an optional container for whatever tool you choose, or this could be your tool. If you want one place to hold your intention, you can make a tiny altar. And tiny is perfect, it doesn't have to be elaborate. A New Year altar works wonderfully, and it works with forward facing energy too. It's a sacred space that holds your intentions for the year ahead. Just put 1 to 3 items there. Just keep it simple. Your word for the year, perhaps your year theme card if you pulled an oracle or tarot card, a candle, a stone, or any object that feels like your intention. And as you place each item, you can say silently or aloud, this represents my sacred audacity, or whatever your theme is. This is the energy I'm embodying this year. That's it. Your altar isn't decor, it's a reminder, a place your intention and attention can return to when life gets loud. Let it grow with you. Let it be a living reminder of who you are becoming. And you don't have to be good at altar building. You don't have to be witchy or woo. You don't have to know all the correspondences and have fancy tools. Altars aren't necessarily woo. You just need intention and objects that mean something to you. That's what an altar is, a physical space that holds your sacred intention, a place where the spiritual and material meet. So, those are your tools: a word or theme for simplicity and clarity, tarot or oracle cards for soul mapping through symbols, vision boards or manifestation boxes for making your sacred audacity or your theme of the year tangible. Then the optional bonus, a New Year altar to hold it all together. Go ahead, choose one. That's enough. And if you want more, you can build from there. Again, trust your intuition. Go with what feels right for you, but don't make it a chore. And remember, this isn't about doing it right. It's about anchoring your intention in a way that feels real to you. Because sacred audacity isn't just a concept, it's a practice, it's a frequency, it's a daily choice to take up space, trust your knowing, and stop waiting for things to be just right. So go create, go claim, go embody. This year is waiting for you to step in. If you want some support for your year ahead, I do offer personalized year ahead readings that go a little more in depth than the layout I provided in this episode. Some clients use it for business focus, others use it to track how the energy unfolds month by month. And you can find out more at magicalsoulutions.com. But know that whether you work with me or do this practice on your own, the invitation is the same. What if you already know the way? What if you just need to take the reins? So, as we close this sacred space, let me leave you with one final invitation. Beautiful soul, here's your soul invitation as you step into this new year. You're not arriving at some finish line, you're becoming, and you're already on the path. The magic isn't in the future. The sacred audacity isn't waiting until you're ready. The future may not be written, but you are. And you get to direct what comes next. Here's the question I'm living into this year. We talked about this in our last episode that brought us into this episode. What am I still waiting for permission to claim? And here's the answer I'm practicing because, yes, I too am continuing this work all the time. My answer? Nothing. I'm done waiting. This year, I stopped translating myself for people who aren't fluent in my language. This year, I stopped shrinking or masking to make others comfortable. This year, I finally stand where I already belong, not loudly, not performatively, but quietly, rootedly with sacred audacity. The lesson of this year is clear. Sacred audacity isn't about becoming more, it's about finally standing in what's already mine. And maybe as you do your head spread, or as you pull 3 cards or journal or whatever it is that you do on what wants to emerge, maybe you'll find your own word waiting, your own theme, your own quiet, rooted, embodied sacred audacity. So for this week and beyond, I invite you to choose one of the 3 tools or, create the altar, create that anchor, and ask yourself, what am I ready to claim this year? And then respond now. Take the first step. Embrace all of who you are and let consistency be your magic, because you don't need to see the whole path to take the first step. And you don't need to change everything about you to step into this year. You just need to finally be you, fully, unapologetically, with sacred audacity. Thank you, truly, for stepping into this year with me, for trusting the process, for planting seeds in the dark, for claiming your space without apology. This work, this quiet, rooted, unglamorous work of becoming, is truly valuable work. And I'm so grateful you're here for it. Consider this your invitation to the Magical Society, a space for kindred souls seeking a more authentic path. Stay connected by subscribing And if this resonated, share your thoughts with a review or a rating. This week's soul soundtrack was Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfeld, Feeling Good by Nina Simone, and The Dog Days Are Over Now by Florence and the Machine. I encourage you to check them out when you have time. For more resources, personalized year ahead readings, or any other services that I offer, and ways to connect with our community, visit magicalsoulutions.com. Soul work thrives in connection. Until we meet again, may you walk in wonder, trust your light, speak from the soul, feel the quiet magic weaving through your days. And remember, beautiful soul, you are magical. You are the solution.